So do you think macaws make good pets?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
100%. I totally recommend these birds to anyone. Hello you lovely people and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, in case you haven't guessed it, is about do macaws make good pets? Do you? Because right now you're wrecking my clothes. No, but seriously, before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe and press that bell button, because those of you who have seen my videos know that I don't really post very often, but if you press the button, you'll know whenever I release. People often see these magnificent birds at zoos or in pet shops or online and think that wow, they make amazing pets. Look how fun they are, look how pretty they are. And you know what? They are really pretty, but there is so much more to them than these pretty colours, more to them than these pretty colours, more to them than these pretty colours. Why are you breaking my clothes? See, literally, like I said, so much more to them. And you know, if you like an organised life, macaws are not for you. There goes a button. Corliss, you're making a very good point already. We are owned by two macaws, one of which being Corliss, our military macaw. I've made a video on Corliss in the past, but to sum it up, she's had two homes previous to us, and we got her at 4 years old. She couldn't fly, she had muscle atrophy, we had to work really hard to bring her back from that. But now she is here, happy, destroying clothes and everything we own. The tail you just saw there belongs to Rita, our blue and gold macaw, who we actually just adopted back in February, and she's settling in pretty well. She also was 4 years old when we adopted her, and she also had two past homes. So we're hoping that we're going to be her forever home. Rita still has quite a long journey ahead of her because she still has muscle atrophy, and we're hoping to get her flying eventually. The fact that you've decided to click on this video suggests that you are interested in getting a macaw, and I feel like it is my job right now to either convince you not to get one at all, or to make you feel a bit more prepared. Let's start with how long these birds can live. Well, did you know that these guys can actually live up to 60 years old? Some even more. The oldest macaw recorded is actually 114 years old and goes by the name Charlie. I'm not sure if Charlie is still alive or not, but it is believed that Charlie was Winston Churchill's bird. Yes, these birds live a very long time. In other words, be prepared to have them in your wills. Second thing to cover, noise. Now, these guys can be super loud. You can hear them outside of our house, probably on the next street over, to be honest. So thank God we have nice neighbours, because I don't think we would have birds without them. They'll scream for many different reasons. They might scream out of hunger. They might scream because they don't want to eat their veg and they want nuts. They might scream because you've left the room and they think you've abandoned them, so they're going to flock call for you. They might scream because they've noticed a bird outdoors and they have to now contact it. They might like cars and they might start screaming at cars. They will scream for any reason, sometimes just for the pure enjoyment. And let's not forget screaming while you're on the phone. Yeah, Corliss hates when I communicate with anybody else, so naturally she will scream constantly if I am talking to anybody. It's great, you know, I love having a social life. Thirdly, let's not forget that these guys bite a lot. Have you seen their diet? They eat nuts. And I'm talking shelled nuts, walnuts. They can crack them so easily. I have no idea what Mother Nature was thinking when she decided that these guys required a face knife. So as we know from seeing the footage of them cracking their nuts open, these guys have a pretty strong bite. And although they usually use their beaks for cracking nuts and climbing and everything, they might also bite you. As we know with every bird has a reason behind biting. It may be that it's not trained to not bite, it may be that it's scared. It may just be that it didn't see you coming and munches down on you. A lot of birds in captivity nowadays are kept in cages and they don't get out as often, which naturally means they have a ton of pent up energy. And a lot of the time when they have a lot of pent up energy, it has to be released in some way. That could be via screaming, or it could even be via biting, because they have to get out somehow. The best way to get excess energy out of these guys is through flying. In the wild, these guys fly about 15 to 17 miles a day. And this is why we believe that free flight is a magnificent thing. Both of our guys are in training for free flight. Corliss has actually had her 3rd free flight so far, and we're hoping she's gonna start exploring soon.
Ready? Very nice, good girl.
The reason that I personally believe that free flight is so important to these guys is because they can't get that adequate exercise indoors. Majority of the time, 2 flaps and they've managed to fly across the entire room. That is not enough exercise to get all of that energy out and to keep them fit and healthy. So this is where free flight comes in, and it is absolutely fantastic. And yes, I know that you get lazy birds, I definitely do. This one was extremely lazy and still is. But you know what? Working with her, she's getting more and more eager to fly. She's starting to enjoy it. Flight is important to them. Same as exercise is important for humans, it is also important for birds.
Coming up. Yes, good girl.
These birds are not cheap to have. Like, just to buy one alone costs about $2,000 nowadays. So, you know, that's a lot of money. And on top of that, you need to think about the upkeep. The vet visits, the cost of the aviary or cage, the cost of food, the cost of toys. Like, wow, do we go through a lot of toys and a lot of money buying toys. So we spend about £200 a month on brand new toys for these guys, and it all literally gets shredded. Like, you're literally basically putting money through a paper shredder, because this, it'll be broken within the next few days. It doesn't last. You're probably looking at spending about £100 to maybe £200 a month on your bird, depending how much they play, how much food they eat, what they eat. It really depends on the individual. But in short, they are not cheap animals to keep. They definitely keep you on your toes anyway, and vet visits are expensive. They require an exotic vet, so, you know, more money there because the vet has to be specialised in caring for birds. And while we're talking about cost, well, have you thought about the cost of an aviary or a cage? Now, our guys live in an indoor aviary. There is a panel between them right now because they're still getting used to each other, but that panel will be removed soon. So that aviary cost us a lot of money, and we still don't think it's big enough. I mean, I don't think we will ever think it's big enough. And you'll find that no matter what cage you buy, you will also constantly think that you need something bigger. It's why we just went down the aviary route. The aviary we have allows us to expand, so if you guys are wanting one, I'll pop the link in the description. That is for UK only. But the thing is, you may see off the aviary, it takes up a lot of space. That aviary is 8 foot by 4 foot by 6 foot. It's pretty big. And you'll need something that is quite large to have your bird in, because imagine if you go to school, or if you have an emergency appointment, or, you know, anything can happen. That bird needs a safe space to go to where it can also play. And your bird won't only need a cage, you need to also think about somewhere for them to sit when out the cage. Yes, many people don't have Java trees and they prefer to make their own stands, and that's perfectly fine. But you need to consider that. These birds need somewhere to sit when they're out their cage as well. That's why we have 2 Java trees. One on that side that I'll show in a second. Obviously, an important part of having a pet is what you feed them. Now, contrary to popular belief, these guys eat fruit and veg, and a lot of it. It's meant to make up at least 50% of their diet, if not more. So you're gonna have to buy veg every single week probably, unless you freeze it, but still, you're gonna have to buy a lot of veg. On top of that, you're gonna need to get pellets and seeds. So make sure that if you're getting a macaw, you research the diet really well, because it is not what a lot of people seem to think. And getting these guys to eat fruit and veg can be quite tricky sometimes, and you need to come up with some really fun ways to make that food interesting to them. Because like a toddler, they don't want to eat all the healthy stuff. They want the sweets. Oh yeah, if you guys want a macaw, do you guys have a social life? Because if you get one, you're not gonna have a social life anymore. Meeting friends at night? Yeah, that's out, you gotta take care of your bird. Wanting to go out on a holiday? Yeah, who's gonna take care of your bird? Who's willing to take on an animal that has a knife on its face? Like, honestly, do you have friends that have the capability of handling your pet? Because if not, goodbye holidays. Those of you who already own these birds, and those of you who are doing the research for them, know that these guys require a ton of attention. Now, I'm not talking the 4 hours like Google says, I'm talking practically your entire day and your entire life. They can't just sit in a cage locked away, they need stimulation. They need your attention. They need training. They need cuddles. They need to be able to play. How are they going to do that locked in the cage their entire lives? They're not. And let's not forget that they need to fly, like I discussed earlier. So all of that's going to take up a lot of time. Our guys spend a decent chunk of the day out their cage, depending on when we're working or not. Usually they're out of the cage practically their entire day. But that's just another point that you have to consider. Like, if you keep your birds in your cage, they're going to be loud, they're going to be more aggressive, they're going to have far too much energy. It's not going to end well. It's not easy having a macaw. They are literally like toddlers. The only difference is you can close the door on them and they can't do anything, but it'll wreck that entire room. Yeah, be prepared for holes in your walls if you do that. And now the bird lover's favourite topic, mess. Oh my god, do these guys make a mess. Breakfast, the food is everywhere. It's up the walls, it's on the floor. It's all over them. Feathers during molting season. There's so much. We've started collecting boxes of feathers of these guys, but the feathers get everywhere. Like, you could have just cleaned the room and suddenly bam, there's another feather. And let's not forget the poop. Like, yeah, fair enough, they poop about once every 30 minutes roughly, but have you seen the size of the poop? And when it falls, it usually explodes, like all over the floor. It's not fun to clean up. Some of it, fair enough, is fairly easy, but see if your birds have just eaten veg. Yeah, that's gonna be some watery poop that's just gonna go all over the floor. Luckily, bird poop doesn't smell, but you know what? If your bird is not potty trained, be prepared to be washing your clothes twice as much as usual, because they'll happily go toilet on you. They don't care. It's no different to them. As I said earlier, birds need a lot to do. I forgot to add this bit in, so I thought I'd add it in very quickly now. These guys need a lot of stimulation. So see, when you're leaving the house to go to work, you can't just be a normal human and get up and get dressed and leave the house. You need to get up and get yourself down to your kitchen or wherever you keep nuts and put nuts into foraging toys and make sure your birds have fresh toys and make sure the toys are moved around and make sure there's stuff for them to do, because if you don't, your birds are going to be cranky. They need that constant stimulation because they're so intelligent. You can't just leave them with nothing to do. And lastly, you really need to consider the fact that if you need to rehome your bird, that's going to really mess them up. So these birds bond super strongly to their humans, and rehoming them can literally lead to depression. It's not fair on them for you to buy them because you think they look pretty. You need to think about how long they live and how much of an impact you are going to have on their life by taking them in. Honestly, whenever somebody messages me on Instagram saying, oh, I want a macaw, I always tell them, don't get a macaw. Macaws are not good pets. Not for someone who likes a clean house, who likes it organised, who likes silence. And to be honest, that is a description of an ordinary person. Someone who likes a clean house, someone who likes silence, and someone who likes to be organised. You can't have that if you have these birds. It doesn't work. Of course, there are people out there who adore their birds and who do amazingly with them. But there are also people who impulse buy, who see this gorgeous animal and think, wow, that's going to look pretty in my room, and do no research whatsoever, keep them on a seed diet and keep them locked in a cage. These pets are literally for life. They will see you get married. They will see you have your first child. They will see you through the deaths of your family members. That is how long they live. You will have them hopefully for life. Please do not get one of those animals unless you are truly prepared to potentially have them for the rest of your lives. I know I seem harsh with what I'm saying, but I've seen what rehoming them can do to them. Corliss was such a scared bird when we got her. Rita has no confidence. It's not fair on them. You really need to do your research, guys. And I'm not trying to upset anybody by saying it, but it really is not fair on them. Obviously, some people have to rehome because they cannot physically care for them any longer, and this does not apply to them. There are people out there who try their very best with their animals and they just can't anymore. But there are those who buy them and don't do their research, and that's who I'm directing this at. Anyway, after that slightly more serious and sadder chat, I really hope that you've enjoyed the video if you've managed to last this far. And I really hope that you've learned something. Hopefully I have put you off a macaw, or you feel more prepared, and to be honest, if you're still wanting one of these amazing birds, please do your research. Go to shelters, go handle some macaws, go and speak to macaw owners, read about them online, find out as much as you can so you are super prepared for them. Anyway, I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye!